Oh, run!
Here
Oh
we
no!
go.
Oh no!
Man.
Oh no!
All right, we gotta move.
Go, 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 go! Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Ray Apollo. Today we have an incredible interview for you today. I am really excited about this game and have been for a while. Today we're talking with Chris Sumsky of the dev for The Wild at Heart. But Chris, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking your time to do this, because I know that you are very busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be here.
In The Wild at Heart, you're going to explore a unique world, set up new camps, locate rare resources, befriend strange creatures, and loot ancient shrines. And I mean, I'm sure Chris is going to tell us more about it, you know what I'm saying? Chris, would you mind please telling us a little about The Wild at Heart for the people who are new?
You covered the basics. Wild at Heart is a story about a kid who runs away from home and stumbles into another world, a magical world filled with odd creatures and environments and just weird events that happen. So here I've loaded into a save file that's a little bit into the game, 10 or 20 minutes. I'm already into that magical world. It's called the Deep Woods, and you can see I have a handful of creatures here following me around. These are little spritelings.
They're so cute.
And so they help you do all kinds of stuff. So right now I'm tasked from this guy, Scrap Heap, who he's trying to upgrade that thing on my back, my Gustbuster.
Gustbuster? That's my favorite word I've heard all week. The Gustbuster, yes!
Great. And you can see here Scrap Heap can't quite get the name right. He keeps calling it the Butt Guster.
The Butt I'm sorry, I'm 12. Thank you.
And the Gustbuster does this, which is awesome. You can see I can just vacuum up scrap like this. But the problem at the moment is we need to get across this little creek here, and my Gustbuster's not powerful enough. He's tasked me with going around and getting some resources, and he can help me upgrade it. So to do that, I can use my little buddies here, my spritelings. So I can throw them around. Boop.
You can just yeet them? Oh, and they bring stuff back. That's so sweet.
And they bring stuff back. They can also help me bust up these trash bags.
Oh.
I'll put another one up here.
I wish my dogs could do this.
I'll just have those two guys go back to camp there.
Oh,
wow,
they're so smart.
It's their world. We're just living in it.
So, Chris, tell us about Moonlight Kids and your role as a part of that.
Created Moonlight Kids in August of 2018. I am a programmer, game designer, business, kind of handle business stuff, things like that. And we are a handful of people, not very many. There's three of us who have been full-time since like the beginning of the project, about 2.5 years. And then our writer was also a huge part of the development cycle, and he was especially in like the first year and a half, because as you can see, the writing in this game is phenomenal. And then we also work with the composer Amos Roddy and the sound designer Matt Morgan. And
the sound is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. All in all, we're a pretty small team, and so it's been a fun journey getting our vision here to completion over the last 2.5 years for Alex, the writer, and Justin, our animator. It's been even longer. They were sort of conceptualizing it and doing stuff like that even before we made Moonlight Kids. So yeah.
So you said 2 years.
Been a long time
That is a long time in the making, for sure. So what does an average day look like for a game developer like yourself?
I get up, I check, make sure there's no email. We work with humblegames, obviously, our publisher, and I make sure there's no emails from them or anyone really, that stuff like that we need to get sorted. And then usually I just like whatever's next on the list of things to do, which lately has been a lot of, well, I would say beginning of this year was like a lot of level design towards the end of the project. We were trying to just get all of the areas finished. So designing levels, testing them over and over again. But I also do a lot of programming. You can see I upgraded the Gustbuster.
Yeah!
Pull this log bridge down.
The Butt Guster has been accomplished.
Yeah, so I do a lot of programming as well. Our lead programmer is Ankit Trivedi. And so me and him work super closely together on all of the programming. Most of the programming in the game was one of the two of us. So,
oh wow,
yeah, a lot of work there. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot of jumping around between tasks because there's so few of us. We all kind of have to wear a lot of hats.
Right.
But definitely the majority of my day is either doing level design or programming.
I just can't keep gushing over how beautiful this is, and so again, I'm going to say this a lot. Well done, because this looks so good. But
Thank
I guess
you.
now, speaking of level design and the artistic style, what games and or franchises inspired you and when you guys were working on The Wild at Heart?
Justin, the artist, animator extraordinaire, he's talked a lot about his inspirations for the art style and stuff. So as you can see, it's very like storybookish, hand drawn, that kind of look. So things like Studio Ghibli and the animation studio Cartoon Saloon has done things like, recently Wolfwalkers, but Song of the Sea and Secret of Kells. A lot of inspirations coming from those kind of animation studios that really lean heavy into just that really hand drawn, lots of heart and soul put into like every detail of the art and animation. And from a narrative side, it's a story about a boy running away from home, kind of a coming of age story. It's not like sugarcoating the story of a kid. It's like, it's a real, he's 12 years old. He knows what's going on in the world. So we want to tell it realistically, like he is struggling with some stuff and he's dealing with it, but he's dealing with it in a way that kids do. He runs away from home and thinks like packing his handheld game system is like one of the best decisions he can make, So
yeah, that would have been
so,
me. I need my Game Boy and socks.
Exactly.
Yes. All the characters are incredibly unique, and I love the way they look. How did you guys come up with these characters? Because, like, Scrap Heap, literally, I love it.
Most of the characters in the game are inventions from Justin and Alex. A lot of them were even like before we made Moonlight Kids, just like on paper, they had the ideas for these characters and the order that they belong to, which is the Green Shields. And they're all quirky and they all live in the Deep Woods and they all came to be here by different ways. And you kind of learn a little bit about each of their backstory through dialogue and picking up on like context clues and things. But for the most part, yeah, it's just like a quirky cast of characters who all came from different backgrounds and histories and things like that.
And I love that because, I mean, I'll tell you, Chad, I've seen some of them and they all look fantastic. And I'm not going to spoil any of them for you because I want you to see them for the first time yourself when you're playing. What can players expect from The Wild at Heart?
This is essentially the core gameplay here. You can see my herd size here has gotten bigger since
yes,
I started.
there's a lot. You have a lot more friends.
Yeah, so I've been farming these. We call them pip squash. That's those little crazy neon-looking squash that I've been taking out, and you get the fruit from those, and you can combine that with blue resource up here.
Mm-hmm.
You combine the pip squash with those, or the pips with those, and you can make more little friends. And then as your herd gets bigger, you can do more things. Fight. Yeah, you can see here's a bad guy. I wouldn't have wanted to try to take him on with 3 guys, but
does he eat them?
Oh yeah, he eats them. So we need to work on the.
Save them. Okay,
there
good.
they go. We got him out. So yeah, and I only have 11 right now, but you get even more. You get a lot of guys, and you get all different types of guys too. So they all have different abilities. You grow your herd, you grow your types, you visit all like different areas. Obviously, like we draw a lot of inspiration from Pikmin. We love Pikmin, and we don't think there are enough Pikmin games out there. So
Agreed.
So we said, what if you took Pikmin's core gameplay and mechanics and you put it into like a huge adventure world, like a seamless adventure world with a deep story and like interesting characters and things like that. Starting with Pikmin is our sword and shield, if you will.
Gotcha. Yeah.
My shiny rock's ringing. Let's answer it.
Your shiny rock is ringing. That's what I'm naming my phone now.
Oh, one of my guys poofed back to me. So Greco's explaining how that happened.
They are quite handy creatures. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So here we go. This was the goal of this level, is I needed to repair that gear up there. So I finally found it. So let's assign these guys to it. Oh, they want to do everything else but the gear. That's okay. They'll get it eventually. There they go. Let's lower this gate for them. There they go.
Oh, wow.
And then while they're doing that, we'll take out these little things. I can also turn this TV on. Oh, right as I kicked it. That was funny.
I was like, do you have to do that now? All right, Chad, if you're watching, you have to do that in order to get the gear to work. All right? When it comes to our little buddies here, when we inevitably lose one or two, does something happen where it makes you feel bad for losing one of them? Like they make a terrible screech noise?
Yes, you do lose them. But we talked about it a lot, and we kind of went to great lengths to like how does that make sense in our world and our tone and like this sort of storybook setting. So you do watch. It is, it's a little distressing the first time you witness it. You watch one of them kind of kind of there's a little spirit floats away.
Oh no!
But Greycoat calls you, and he explains how it works, and they're all part of the forest. So
Okay, so we just, the game tells you they went to a farm up north. They found a new
yeah,
family.
they went to the
Fine.
farm. They're okay.
They're
We
okay.
promise. They're okay. Don't ask where it is. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
don't worry.
Well, we actually have a few questions from our folks on Twitter. We asked to see if some folks had some questions for you. You ready for those?
Oh yeah, let's hit it.
Absolutely. So, the party bus, or the party bus, wants to know, how close has the game stayed in to its pre-development concept? Do you have a favorite feature that wasn't a part of the original plan? Excellent question, I think.
That's two separate questions there. The first
Right.
one, before Moonlight Kids was Moonlight Kids, and I built this bridge. Let's pop into here for a second. And Justin and Alex were conceptualizing it. There was a brief prototype that they were toying around with, where the game was more about collecting creatures, like almost Pokemon-y in a way, but like with their own twist on it. And so, I mean, when you're talking really early on, like 3 years ago, it was that original idea was actually quite different before we switched to like the Pikmin idea and things like that. And then there were other little things too, like the world wasn't like a totally seamless, like you could see I just went from one area to the next, and we want it to feel like all sort of connected and things like that.
Yeah.
So some of those things have changed, but for the most part, ever since we kind of had the Pikmin-like core gameplay and like let's put in an adventure world, and like the story has pretty much not changed much since the very beginning. So a lot of that stuff has stayed the same for a long time now, about 2.5 years. The second question, a core feature that we had to cut. Yes, lots.
Lots.
Lots. It's inevitable in game development. We used to have a thing where these camps here and like various buildings throughout the game, you actually had to like collect the materials to build them and then commit the materials, and it sort of makes a little construction site, and then you like throw your guys at it, and they do little hammering animations, and they actually have to spend time constructing it. So like that was like an additional step to building camps and to building buildings later on in the game. So we had it all working roughly, I mean, without art and animations yet, and it was pretty cool. I mean, it was pretty much how we envisioned it, but what we didn't anticipate is just like adding in those extra steps to doing things when you already have to get the resources, you already have to find the thing in the first place, and it ended up being kind of like tedious and a little too many steps. So it didn't work for the core game. So maybe, who knows, maybe we'll revisit it later on for some other like specific kind of side quest or something.
Well. You heard it here first, chat. That sounds like, because
No promises.
I would love to see them with a little hammer.
I know.
That would be so cute. I love it. All right, so Hitch wants to know, how did you come up with the idea behind this game, like, period, and all of the Green Shield guys, gals, and birds?
Yeah, so again, like a lot of that conceptualizing early on with the Green Shields and the story and Wake and his story was done very early on between Alex and Justin. So again, that's our writer, and Justin's sort of the art animator, art director kind of guy. I think they were just drawing from, partially personal experiences and partially just from inspirations that they love, like that I mentioned, like those art inspirations and film and story inspirations. So I think that's a lot of where the original idea came from, and just having cool ideas in your head and being like, oh, here we go, it's about to get scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, run!
Here
Oh
we
no!
go.
Oh, no!
Man!
No!
All right, we gotta move.
Go! Oh no!
Don't attack that. You don't have time for that. Let's get out of here.
Oh!
He got one more.
Well,
Oh, you got to see him die after all.
you didn't tell me this was also a scary game. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so once you get out of this quote-unquote intro of the game and the world really opens up to you,
Ooh.
the day-night cycle is a huge part of the game loop. So, and this is where we sort of introduce it. It's like, ooh, night is very scary.
Yeah,
whereas
night-
the Green Shields say the dark is bad.
The dark night is bad.
There he goes. The dark is bad.
Oh man.
Those are never gazers who come out at night.
Oh,
and
boy.
do not like you or the Sprightlings. So.
Yeah, darkness equals no thank you, says Reagan in chat.
Yeah.
That's actually the length of the questions that I had for you.
All right.
Anything else that you want to tell the fine folks watching?
Well, the game comes out on May 20th, so a week away. Very exciting. PC
Yes.
and Xbox One and Series. Any of this interests you and you would pick it up, we would love to hear what people think, and we're extremely excited for people to finally get to dive in full and see what we've been working on all this time.
Well, I mean, I am very excited. As you've heard me literally just gushing about it for the past 30 minutes. So, thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time to be here again. Chris, again, thank you very much. And to all of you watching, thank you very much as well. All right, take care. Bye, y'all.